So this is the answer key for lesson 1.3, distance and midpoints. So number 3, the first one, let's see. Why is that like that? Number 3, you had to find the distance from point A to point B. So when you plugged that into the distance formula, you came up with the square root of 148, but the square root of 148 is the same thing as the square root of 4 times the square root of 37, so it actually simplifies to the radical 2 times the square root of 37. Number 4, the distance from A to C is the square root of 106. The square root of 106 does not contain any perfect squares, so that is as simplified as you can get that one. Number 9, you were finding the midpoint. The midpoint of JK, using the midpoint formula, the midpoint of JK is 4, it's the ordered pair 4 and negative 11 over 2. Or if you like decimals, you could have written that as 4 and negative 5.5. Number 10, the midpoint of MN is the ordered pair 11 halves and 0. And if you like decimals, you could have written 11 halves as 5.5. Number 12, you're asked to find the missing point or the missing value. You know that the midpoint is 6, 4, the ordered pair 6, 4, and then you know that the other point, like one of the endpoints, is 9, 2. So I'm going to do a really quick sketch here just so you can see. So this is like the ordered pair 6, 4, and this is like the ordered pair 9, 2. You're trying to find this, x and y. So using the midpoint formula, I know that the x-coordinate, 6, has to equal a plus 9 divided by 2. And the y-coordinate, 4, has to equal 2a plus 2 over 2. So when I solve, I find out that a equals 3. Number 14, I am finding the distance from J to K on a number line. I used the absolute value formula. I find out that JK is 3. The distance from J to K is 3. Number 16, the distance from N to P is 2. Number 18, the distance from L to N is 5. Number 21, using the distance formula, the distance from point S to point T is the square root of 58, and that cannot be simplified anymore. All right, number 23. I'm using the distance formula again. So number 23, using the distance formula, I come up with the square root of 208. When I simplify that radical, I actually get 4 times the square root of 13. Number 25, the square root of 65 is my answer. I cannot simplify that. Number 27, the square root of 53 is my final answer. I cannot simplify that. Number 29. Using the distance formula, I come up with the square root of 18, which is the same thing as the square root of 9 times the square root of 2, which simplifies to 3 times the square root of 2. Number 32, that's Akiko and Penny. It says that the bottom left corner of that map is the origin. So Akiko is actually living currently at the ordered pair 7, 1. And Penny lives at the ordered pair 4, 6. So the distance between their two houses is the square root of 34, which is about 5.8. And each one of those grids represented a block, so I said 5.8 blocks. Now, it said, suppose that Penny moves 3 blocks north. North is a vertical direction, and it's moving upward. So the y-coordinate on Penny's original had to get changed by 3 units up. So Penny's new coordinate is 4, 9 instead of 4, 6. But then it says Akiko is going to move 5 blocks west. West is to the left, so that means that his x-coordinate is going to be decreased by 5. So his new coordinate is the ordered pair 2, 1. So when I use the distance formula, I find out that the distance between Penny and Akiko is now the square root of 68, which is about 8.2 blocks. Number 39, I'm using the midpoint formula, and I find out that the midpoint of CB is 18.5 and 5.5. Number 42, I find out that the midpoint of VZ is the ordered pair 1/2, -6. And number 46, and the midpoint of TU is the ordered pair -1, -1/2. Number 50, B is the midpoint, and we know that the other point is -3, -5. We're trying to find the missing coordinate for A. So B, the midpoint, -3 equals the x-coordinate minus 6 divided by 2, or C, -5, the y-coordinate equals y minus 2 over 2. When I solve them, I find out that x equals 0 and y equals -8. So the missing point, A, is the ordered pair 0, -8. Number 54, it tells you that M is the midpoint of segment FG. That means that FM is congruent to MG. I drew a little picture of that. Because those two segments are congruent, that means that their measures are equal. So I set the equation equal to each other, meaning 5y plus 13 equals 5 minus 3y. So I discovered that y equals -1. I plugged that back in to find the value of FM, which is 8, and then I multiplied it by 2 to find FG. You were looking for FG, which is 16. Last couple of problems you guys are doing of FM, right? Number 56, I took 2 times the value of 8a plus 1, because a plus 1 is like the value of, so since M is the midpoint, I multiplied that by 2 to get the whole segment, FG, which is 42. So when I distributed 2 times the quantity, 8a plus 1 yields 16a plus 2 equals 42. 16a equals 40. So that means A equals 2.5. And I believe that's it.